How are ya? Good? Are you awake? Have you been in other Zoom meetings? Talk in the chat if you don't have a speaker. Angeline. How are you, Angeline? Good? Ooh, and who is this person? I don't see a name. Rosabelle. Hey, Rosabelle. How are you? Nobody's speaking to me this morning. I need to hear your little voices or see your little faces. Y'all doing okay? Did you stay up late last night watching the ball game? Is that what it was? Hey, Alex. I was wondering who that was. Everybody doing good? Yes, no, maybe? Ready to come back to school? Yes. Yes. Please say yes.
Yes.
Yay. Somebody is. Everybody get in on Google Classroom okay? The new one? I can't see your faces. I don't know if you are here or not. Yay. We're typing. We're typing. Yes, yes, yes. Hot dog. Okay, we're going to get started. And if there's some others that pop in, I will let them in. Okay, first thing I want to do is share my screen and go with you to our Google Classroom. Here we go. All righty, move this little guy out of the way. Okie dokie. All right. So as we see here, you see that here's all your little topics across here of different things. Sometimes you have to just go down through there and see, oh, there might be something new down here that I didn't know about. For example, in our music theory, we had a 3-minute video and we had a second one too. Who can tell me what you think those were about? Anybody? Hey, Yetta. She'll talk. Who can tell me? Anybody? Chat, chat, chat. Mm-hmm. Can't see my chat thing, I think, with my stuff up here. Well, okay. what this is showing us is, for those of you who are newbies, it's here again, showing us and helping us understand how we're going to be reading our music that we're doing. I love the song, Bring Me a Little Water, Sylvie. Y'all practice that and listen to that, because it's going to be so much fun to do, and I can't wait to do it. So I'm going to go in here. First of all, let's look at this 3-minute video right here. Let me get to the stream here. Here we go. Bam. Whoops. Whoops. Not that one. Here we go. All right. Now then, so as we look here at the very beginning, it kind of gives you an introduction of how it's going to work, because as I said, it's only 3 minutes. That's all it is. So when we start off, it's giving us review questions that we're going to do. But since we're not going to worry about that right now, we're going to deal with what he's talking about here to make sure that we understand. And this, a lot of times, is a quick review for us. Sometimes we're going to get things mixed up. And so he's just going to refresh our memory on what the musical staff is. You know, in my classroom, we've got 5 lines and 4 spaces. My dry erase board is totally different than your normal dry erase board, because mine has got lines and spaces on it, right? And so it's got music staff already written on there, which is awesome, because that way I can draw on it in music stuff and not have to worry about sitting there drawing 5 lines and 4 spaces each time that I want to do a music thing on there. Okay, so let's dive into review. Okay, here we go.
Music notation. Now, as we zoom in here, you can clearly see that there's several different musical symbols, which we're going to get to in a second. But before we take a look at that, let's look at these different lines here. Now, these lines are pretty important because the lines make up what's called the musical staff. And the staff illustrates how high or how low different pitches are going to sound. And the staff is made up of 5 different lines.
And how many spaces?
4 spaces in between.
Correct.
These
4
lines,
spaces.
which again show us how high or how low these different pitches are going to look and sound in our sheet music. Now, what further helps categorize these different pitches are these different clefs over here. So we have 2 different clefs. We have the treble clef and the bass clef. But let's talk about this one up here first. Again, this is called the treble clef. It's not called the treble clef, but the treble clef. And this is mainly used for pitches that are on the higher end of the spectrum. So higher voices or higher sounding instruments are going to follow the treble clef. Now, another name for the treble clef is also called the G clef. You might be wondering why it sounds like such a completely different name than the treble clef. And that's a good point. But if you take a look here, the center of the treble clef is actually this little design here. And this little design circles the G line. Yes, it circles the G line of the treble clef. So that's another reason why they call this also the G clef. So it's a treble clef or G clef. And now this clef down here is a different name, and it's called the bass clef. Now, not bass like baseball, but bass clef referring to the lower frequencies or the lower pitches. And the bass clef has another name, and it is also called the F clef. Now, why is it called the F clef? Well, a similar reason to the treble clef with the circle there around the G line. The bass clef, this little dot here, actually is highlighting the F line of the bass clef. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit more in detail in a future lesson. But again, let's review. We have the staff, which is made up of 5 different lines and 4 different spaces, and it tells us how high or how low those pitches are going to sound. And we also have two different clefs. We have the treble clef, or the G clef, and we have the bass clef, also known as the F clef. Great job.
Okay, so as we saw there, we had the treble clef, the bass clef, the staff, which is 5 lines and 4 spaces. So there we are first right off the bat showing how we lay out all of our music there as far as how we look and what kind of paper maybe that music is written on, right? Okay, any questions about that? Is everybody good on that? Yes? I can't see your faces, so I can't see a thumbs up or, yeah, we got this, it's me. All right? Okie dokie. Whoops. Somebody chatted to me. Yes, yay, somebody chatted to me. Okay, now then, let's go on into the second one, all right? The second one, which also went into some detail things. Our quick check number 2. Here we go. Now, at the beginning, we're going to have some questions that we need to ask, okay? So I want you to see if you can answer those questions.
How many lines make up one musical staff? How many lines make up one musical staff?
Okay, what's the answer? 5.
Yes, that's correct. The musical staff is made up of 5 different lines.
Awesome.
Very good. What is another name for the bass clef? What is another name for the bass clef?
You can tell me. Another name for the bass clef. Yay!
Yes, that's correct. The F clef. Remember, this little marking here happens to be on the F line of the bass clef. It's also called the F clef. Very good.
Super!
Which clef is usually used for higher pitched voices and instruments? Which clef is usually used for higher pitched voices and instruments?
Who's got it? Yay! Treble clef.
Yes, that is correct. The treble clef, also known as the G clef, is usually used for higher pitched voices and instruments. One of the main pieces of music notation that helps us organize our music is what's called measures. Now, a measure is a space between 2 bar lines. Now, if you're wondering what a bar line is, it's actually this little line right here. It's called a bar line. And again, this helps separate our measures. Now, a mistake that so many young musicians make is they think that a measure is the same thing as a bar line, when that's not the case. Now, these bar lines separate the measures. So a measure is really the space between 2 bar lines. Okay, again, so this is called a bar line here, but the measure is the space between these 2 bar lines. But what if we have multiple measures that we want to read? And what if there's multiple different instruments or different parts that are playing at the same time? What this is basically describing is what's called a musical system. A musical system is a group of several different instruments or voices that are performing at the same time. And this little bracket right here is basically organizing this system. So a system is different than a measure. For example, in this case, measure 15, as we see over here, would be this entire group of measures. But a system is a group of all of these musical instruments, voices that are performing at the same time. And what's different about this is if you happen to be a soprano following this music, instead of just reading the soprano part and then going on to maybe the alto line, that wouldn't make sense, right?
Right.
What would really happen is you would follow the music all together. So the sopranos are performing with the altos, with the baritones, and with the piano. And it's all performing at the same time. All of these different parts are performing at the same time. And this is an important distinction because so many students make this mistake, especially young musicians. They follow their part, and then they think, okay, let me go down to the next line. But that wouldn't make sense because if you are a soprano, that means then you would be going from the soprano part and jumping to the alto part. That doesn't make sense. Again, because all of these parts are performing at the same time. Now, what's the difference again? Just to review, this area here is one measure. This bracket is organizing a musical system. And again, a system is a group of all of these parts. And don't forget, this line right here is called the bar line, right? These are the bar lines, and a measure is the space between these two bar lines.
Okay, so how did you do on that? Had some of you not done that one yet? If you haven't, then now you can mark that you have done it and get your grade on that. So now then, here we've got showed us, because when we look at music, especially that new song that we're going to be learning, that folk song, Bring Me a Little Water, Sylvie, it's got 4 different lines, and each of those 4 lines are a different voice part. Now then, so when we're looking at that, then we know, let me pull that sheet music up. Boom. As we see it here, and we see that we've got soprano 1, soprano 2, which is the melody, alto 1 and alto 2. Now then, that doesn't mean that, it's just going to be a girl singing, because it's not, because it's going to be guys too. Because this piece was written when, really it was written by a guy. Yeah, it was. And I'm going to go into that in just a minute. But look at this right here where you got, here you're singing across here, then you'd go down to here if you were the top line, and then you'd go down to here. Just like he said, this measure 6 is all 4 of these right here. That all is measure 6, okay? Any questions about that, of understanding that we're going all the way across all together? Each of these 4 voices are singing, they're just singing a different part at the same time, which means that we're forming harmony, aren't we? Instead of singing melody. All right, now, one more thing I want us to go into while we are on our sheet is our sight reading. Let me find our sight reading. Not there. Not there, not there. Where did I put it? Oh, where did I put the sight reading? Oh, I don't think I've put it on here yet. Have I? I don't think I have. But I did put the vocalises on there. Did I not? Absolutely. Let's do a few of these. It's been a little while since we've done them, but let's do a few of them just to get our voices warmed up. Okie dokie. Are you ready? Here we go. Loose lips, tip of the tongue, articulation, please. 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 Get to y'all. Turkey, ham, and pork chops too. I love holidays. How about you? Here we go. Turkey, ham, and pork chops too. Oh no, this crazy thing is about to drive me bonkos. He's in another world, I do believe. Because, hello, why is he doing this? Stop. Okay, let me see if I can do it now. Turkey, ham, and pork chops too. I love holidays, how about you? Turkey, ham, and pork chops too. I love holidays, how about you? And I don't know why it's going back to that same thing. Let me see here if I can move this out of the way and see what's going on. I know what I'll do. I'll do it this way. That way it can't do it. How about that? Sports fans. Here we go, because you can still see it. And turkey, ham, and pork chops too. I love holidays, how about you? Turkey, ham, and pork chops too. I love holidays, how about you? Turkey, ham, and pork chops too. I love holidays, how about you? Turkey, ham, and pork chops too. I love holidays, how about you? Yay! All righty. Jesta is going to be chewing some milk chocolate. Are you ready? Jesta chewed a chunk of milk chocolate. 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 Excellente. Good job. Okay, now then, let's go back to Sylvie here. Bring me a little water, Sylvie. Oh my goodness. Now, Bring Me a Little Water, Sylvie was written by a guy named Hootie Ledbetter, and his nickname was Lead Belly. Lead Belly. Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to test your skills in English. How about that? Oh, all right. Are you listening? Here's your question. See if any of you can answer this question for me. I'm going to put our little chat box up. Okay. Oh, you can't hear me? Can you not hear me? Can anybody hear me? Yes, no, maybe? Angeline, can you hear me now? We had this with someone the other day, and they went off and came back on, and they were able to hear. So check that. Make sure that you're unmuted, okay? Let's see here. Let's see if I can. Whoops. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I feel like that phone thing. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Whoops, let me see. Whoops. Yay, now you can. Awesome. Great. Great, great, great. Yay, I'm so glad. All righty. So let me go back to this little thing right here. All right. Now then, so now let me tell you. Does anybody know, this is a big English word, does anybody know what the word pseudonym means? Pseudonym. Does anybody know what pseudonym means? Any guesses? No guesses? All right, let me give you a hint. A false name. Does that help? A pseudonym is a name that people use other than their name. For example, do you know who Samuel Clemens is? Samuel Clemens, otherwise known as Mark Twain. That's who we probably know him as, is Mark Twain. So Samuel Clemens uses the name Mark Twain in his writing. So a lot of authors use another name other than their name to identify themselves. For instance, my name is not Bewalk, right? Y'all know that, right? You call me Miss Bewalk, but that's like a nickname. It's like a name that I use to identify myself with, but my real name is Becky Walker. But I go by Miss Bewalk. So that's kind of like a pseudonym. Now then, let me tell you about this guy, Ledbetter. Hootie Ledbetter, because his nickname is Lead Belly. And Lead Belly, he got that nickname, they think, when he was in prison. Because he was back he lived in the South, and it was back in the early 1930s. And they say that some of the things that they think how he got his nickname was because he was very strong, or that he had been shot in the stomachs many times with buckshot. So he's got all this inside his belly. Some have just, it's just one thing after another that they had, assumed that maybe that's why he was called Lead Belly. But anyhow, he, when they were talking about who is Sylvie and what is, why is she bringing water? Why is she asked to be bringing water in a bucket somewhere? Well, it just so happens that Huey was one who they lived on a farm. And they say that he would holler at his wife, Sylvie, and he would say, "Hey, Sylvie, bring me a little water," when he'd get thirsty. "Sylvie, bring me a little water. Sylvie, bring me a little water. Bring it now." And so he would call out to where it eventually got to be like a little song. So listen to him singing this song.
Sylvie, bring the water today. Bring the water. Bring the water today. Every once in a while. Bring the water today. Bring the water. Bring the water, bring the water, if you want to why, if you want to why, if you want to why.
Pretty funny, wasn't it? I mean, when we think about it and we hear this song, it's hilarious because it's nothing like the song that I sent you. Well, it is like it. It's just not what is the arrangement we're going to do. So now when we look at this, here is Mariah Smiley. Now, Mariah Smiley is the one who incorporated this choreography. And when we talk about choreography, it's movement. And we call it, though, body percussion because we're using our hands, we're using our feet, we're using our body as an instrument. When we heard Lead Belly singing it just then, he was using a guitar. And in this case, we're not going to be using guitar. We're not going to be using any kind of music. We're going to be using our voices. Our voices are going to be the instruments. And then our body is going to add instruments. It's going to add the body percussion to it. So let's watch this choir do it. Sing along with them if you want to. Bring me little water, Sylvie. Bring me little water now. Bring me little water, Sylvie. Every little once in a while. Bring me little bucket, Sylvie. Bring it in a bucket now. Bring it in a bucket, Sylvie. Every little once in a while. You'll become a running bucket in my hand. I will bring a little water every little as I can. Oh, oh, little water, Sylvie. Bring me little water now. Bring me little water, Sylvie. Every little once in a while. When you hear me coming, can you see me now? I will bring a little water every little once in a while. 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 Yeah. Okay. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. And that's what we're going to have is some fun stuff when I get to see you. Now on Thursday, those of you whose last name in I Now starts with L through Z, I'll see you on Thursday and Friday. And we're not going to be in the block schedule. We're going to be just 7 periods. So I get to see you both Thursday and Friday. And then those of you whose last names in I now start with A through K, I won't get to see you until Tuesday because Monday we're off because of Martin Luther King Day. But let me tell you this. First of all, I will be recording my classes, me teaching the classes on another type of recording, you know, my new recorder that I've got in my room. I'll be recording my classes each day and I'll be putting them on Google Classroom. So you can watch them each day and it'll be just like you've been in class each day, okay? And then even the days that you're here, I'll be recording those classes. So I'll be putting those classes on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and Friday. So be sure that you are logged into the Google Classroom and that you have, if you're not logged in, if you don't have the codes, send it to me because I will be able to send you another link because I've invited, hopefully, everybody that's supposed to be in my class there, okay? Now, also, I will be sending you links on step-by-step how to learn the body percussion. So you can do it in your own little room all by yourself and not have to, have anybody watch you or anything. And then when you get into class, it'll be even more reinforced. We'll learn it together also. So you've got several ways, but especially that Google Classroom, check it every day. Check it every day because with this virtual thing, we don't know how long we're going to be like this. I hope that we're at least doing the hybrid. Oh, please, Lord, let us be doing the hybrid for a long time. If not, going back to regular where everybody is in school every day and not have to go back to virtual all the time because I need to see y'all and I need to hear y'all and I miss y'all so much, okay? So bunches of stuff on your Google Classroom. I'm going to be sending you some links. I'm going to be sending you some notes and go through those music theory, those quick checks that we did today. And I'll be sending you another one this week. So be ready, okay? Do you have any questions? Anything at all that you want to ask me? Nobody has any questions to ask me? Oh, that's okay. That's because I know you're smart. And do you hear that? There's the bell to change classes. Hey, y'all have a great day and know I love you and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.